All right, how you doing? So, Earth Angel, Sam, I believe it is. And sorry if I didn't get that right. I'm trying something new out, and well, I spoke with you earlier, and again, your words were encouraging, and you have an open mind. You're a brilliant soul, and like I said, your grandparents love you. I mean, whew, it was a pleasure speaking with you. So, like I said, everything happens for a reason. Um, so I was able to get the my internet working again, just because I put the plug in the wrong hole. No pun intended. And so yeah, and then again, it's hard to this journey, the spiritual journey, your spiritual awakenings. It's a Solando journey. Not a lot of people understand, especially when you start to the spiritual world, tapping in when you're connected to your higher self. And again, I chose the astral realms versus the 3D. It's hard to understand. That's people don't realize it. The ones that know. So I flooded the realms with a lot of information, and I'm seeing who's picking it up. And again, it's tribes. We're past life tribes, things like that. So, like I said, if I channel for you or anything like that, we're part tribes, past lives. It doesn't matter. It's just that's just how it is. The ancestors come, and there we go, confirmation. So after we got off the phone, I was looking, and again, I work on several devices, so I'm here to help people awaken. I make music videos, different content, and that's what I'm doing right now. So the last download that I had was well, giving back because I watch a lot of I have to. Well, I don't have to. I watch commercials throughout my messengers, and the messengers now it's not for confirmation or anything. It's about the information that I put out. Are they receiving it? And yes, they are. In their ways, their spirit guides are bringing it to them, or they're again. We telepathically communicate with each other without knowing it. If you understood it, then it would make more sense. I started my very first channel back in 2019, which was Collective Healers Uniting as One. I think it was just Collective Healers, and then so the reason why this channel was inspired, well, Metro Medium, Metro Mediumship. It was Metro Messages. It's just easier to say that, but because of the earth angels that I speak to over the phone. Like I said, sometimes you have to understand about transmuting other people's energy. When we spoke, you were apologizing to me. You don't have to apologize to me. I understand when I'm speaking with somebody, I can't take my frustrations and I out on somebody that it's not their fault why I'm speaking with them. And I realize that. So it's a pleasure when I speak to earth angels and you, everyone, I'm not going to say everyone, but almost everyone, yes. Sometimes they don't like it when I channel. They don't. It freaks them out, especially when you're next to me. My gifts have amped up. Let's just say for the reasons of what's kind of happening, but it's so it's so weird the way everything happens because I was channeling yesterday and I started again. It's like 13D news, and it's when you're channeling and somebody else is channeling. They don't know you're channeling the same way, but you'll almost get confirmations. But this one right here, I channeled and I spoke on some certain things, and other messengers they'll bring information through, and the message again that I get, they'll be at different times because time is an illusion. When a message comes across you, your timeline, then it's meant for you. Again, who's real and who's not. before I do anything or before my tribe, I research and I go all the way back and I know who's hacked and who's, again, I don't want to bring that energy in here, but hopefully this helps you. And once again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, it was such a joy, and hopefully this helps you a little bit. And like, share, and subscribe.
Good morning, my loves. I hope you guys are all well. I wanted to do this post based around a spiritual awakening, okay? And I know a lot of you here that are watching have probably experienced some level of spiritual awakening or a Kundalini activation. And for some of you, maybe you're still sitting there and not really sure what it fully is. And for some of you, maybe you've gone through it and you don't even know it. For some of you, this is your first time going through a spiritual awakening, okay? For myself, I was 21 years old when I experienced my first spiritual awakening, and I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what was going on with me, and to be honest, it was quite scary at that time. I was a single mother and I had no idea. Okay, so my purpose for doing this is that if this is something that you are experiencing, I just wanted to raise some awareness around this, just so you feel you're not alone in this experience. So the first thing that I've written down is what will happen is the breakdown. So when I say the breakdown, this can be in regards to relationships, whether this is in a partnership or this has got something to do with a family or this has got something to do with your friends. There's some level of breakdown that will take place. There can be very unexpected shifts and changes in regards to your job or in regards to your living situations. It's almost like everything starts to crumble. If you think about the Tower card in the tarot, it's like everything starts to crumble and you don't know why, and you start to freak out because it feels like everything that you know is no longer. And it's a level of not being in control, not having control of what's actually leaving. However, in the moment, we really can get a bit freaked out on this, but what is actually happening is that you are simply realigning your path. Okay, so the breakdown is actually working in your favor and it's working for your highest good to put you back onto the path of alignment. There could be breakdowns in regards to your health or things, okay? Then what can happen is you'll go into solitude. So you might isolate yourself, which means that you might shut yourself off from the entire world. You might want to just spend time alone. You might want to spend time alone, but also at the same time feel really fucking lonely. But to be around other people at this time is not something that you want to do, okay? You sit a lot in reflection and you have a lot of realizations. You start to go through the waves of the emotions as well. So then that leads me to my next one. We go through the waves of the emotions. So if there have been relationship breakdowns or there's been something here, we tend to move into deep grief. There can be anger. We can blame ourselves. We can shame ourselves. This is all happening for your highest good again, okay? Because this is clearing and breaking away all of the energetic blocks, okay, and all of the emotional blocks. And then we kind of shift into a state of why. We start to question why. Why did this happen? Where am I going? Who am I without this? There's like this breakdown period that what you once thought you knew and you believed, somehow this all starts to shift. So your belief system is going to start to alter and it's going to start to change. There's an identity piece that's going to start to kick in. So what you once knew externally and internally, there's something there that starts to question, okay? And then what gets shown is the ego. So this is going to highlight the patterns, whether you're a people pleaser, whether there's a level of control, whether there's fear-based patterns that are there. There's something that will come to the surface, and this is where we call our shadow work, our shadow aspect, is that our shadows will be brought to light And this can be really uncomfortable because this is where we tend to want to run away, because we're faced with all of these hard truths about ourselves, and it's presenting for us to take accountability in order for us to clear it, to step into our highest timeline of ourselves, to get closer and closer and closer back to our soul essence, okay? But this can feel quite intimidating, and you will be shown aspects of yourself with every single person that is around you. Okay, so this is where our fears can come up, and this is where it's easier to run away rather than to stay put and actually face whatever it is that you're dealing with head on. I also want to state that your shadow aspect, what we call our inner demons, what we call the parts of us, of our ego that we deem as bad, it's not bad. Nothing about you is bad. You are a soul essence. And your shadow, your ego, is also internally a beautiful aspect of yourself. So instead of trying to fight or run from your ego or run from your shadow, this is not what this purpose is for. It's for you to make peace with it. Befriend this aspect of yourself. It's the yin and the yang. You can't have one without the other. Okay? And then what will happen is that you'll start to see all the signs and synchronicities. And this is where people start to go all woo-woo, because we look at absolutely everything as a message. So you might see the numbers 1111, 111, 222, 1010.
Okay, I want to stop real quick and iterate something like she's saying as far as the synchronicities. We all have numbers that we see, and when the universe, again, they communicate with us constantly. If you're not, I'm going to say woke, but if you're not awakened spiritually, you won't understand it. When they're really heavily communicating with me, 26s are put right in front of my face everywhere. License plates, and especially license plates. But 26s are one of the big numbers for myself. So that's how I know when they're communicating heavily with me. I pulled into the parking lot of a store. And again, the universe is always giving us things. So you'll get better spaces. There's things that you'll get and you won't understand why you're getting them. That's what it is. So I wanted to show you something. This is a synchronicity right here, what that I look at on certain things as far as it's 919. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, they're always communicating. At the end of videos, songs, things like that. So,
It's the repetitive numbers. The universe is speaking to you in code because that's how it communicates, right? It's actually more mathematical than what people realize. They'll start to talk to us through songs, frequency, vibration, right? It starts to turn on our clairs, what we see, what we hear, what we feel, right? And these things might come and they are quite random, or what a coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence.
never.
And you might hear these things in very random places. It might be when you're at the shop, it might be when you're at the gym, it might be when you're filling up your car at the petrol station. You'll start to get messages through your dreams. You might see repetitive animals, butterflies, dragonflies, something like that, that's coming through and giving you messages. And then what starts to happen is that you start to open up your energy into a new vibration, into a new frequency, which then is sending out a signal to people that are on the same frequency as you, okay? And this is because you're starting to move tables. Whether this was by choice or this was actually happening for you, but the table that you once upon a time sat at, you start to move, and that's the solitude. You move to a table, or maybe you feel like you've been forced to sit at a table on your own. That's the solitude. And then you start to move to a new table, which is a new vibration, which is your highest timeline, which is bringing in new people, places, things that are going to further your growth and are going to be able to support you on this new energetic frequency. So as you transition to this new table, you open yourself up and you start aligning with people that are there to help you and benefit you as well as you are to them, right? There's a match, there's an energetic match. So your crowd may shift. Everything seems to be changing. And this is why it can feel quite daunting and it can feel quite scary. However, this is happening for your highest good. And it is so easy to go back to what was because that's familiar. And that feeds into the shadow aspect of yourself. It's easier to sit in the dark than to switch that light on and see all parts of yourself. And when you do step into the courage to turn that light on, you actually realize you've had control of the situation the entire time. Nothing is ever out of your control. It's just helping you, getting you to your highest version of self, closer to yourself. I hope this has helped.